Hi, everyone. Welcome to Tech Trailblazers, where we interview our very own tech staff to learn more about their STEM career pathways. Today, I'm interviewing Rachel Pennington, one of our tech staff. Hi, Rachel. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your role at Tech?
Hi, Patricia. Thanks so much for having me. I'm really excited to chat with you today. So at Tech, I work on several programs where I get to support public agencies, cities, school districts, counties, things like that, in pursuing their energy and sustainability goals. So more specifically, one of the things I get to work on is energy benchmarking, which just means I help agencies understand where they're using a lot of energy, areas where they can start saving energy and implement some sustainable choices.
That sounds great and really fulfilling. Can you tell us a little bit about just kind of your background, like childhood and where you're from?
Yeah, so I was born and raised in Southern California. I grew up in Chino Hills. I grew up with one brother, lots and lots of pets. And one thing that I did every summer with my family was go camping in the mountains. And that's sort of where I began my appreciation for nature and the natural world. And that's where my curiosity began and how I jumped into the sustainability field.
Yeah, that makes sense. So I guess leading into that, do you have any like hobbies outside of work that also kind of tie in, or what's
Yeah.
your kind of like go-to day-to-day hobby?
Yeah. So, I mean, I love spending time with my friends, my family, my cat. Her name is Shiloh. I really love to travel. So, as you can see, there's a picture of me in Paris. The other picture is Snoqualmie Falls in Washington. I love going on road trips, seeing new places. And I am a vegan, so I follow a completely vegetarian diet, and I love trying out new meals and getting creative with my food and my food choices. So that's what I like to do when I'm not working. Um, but I guess I'll just also just say a little bit about sort of how I started in my career was really built out of this love that I developed for nature. Before I started working at Tech, I worked for a bit in environmental and outdoor education. So I would lead students on trips to go whale watching and test water quality and to learn a little bit more about marine science. And I did that partially because I was really influenced growing up by the teachers I had in my life, to pursue science and to feel like science was something that I could do.
That sounds awesome. It's like very great outdoorsy lifestyle that you lead, and sounds like a lot of fun
I
too.
try.
Yeah, definitely. Um, what kinds of things did you have to kind of learn to get to where you are? You know, you've spent a lot of time outdoors and trying out different things and traveling. Are there any lessons that you learned or anything that you learned along the way to get to where you are in your career now?
Yeah, I think, I always from a young age had an interest in the environment and protecting the environment. But I really struggled growing up with um, some of my science classes, and I was never sure if that's something could succeed in school. And I had a really great teacher once that sort of just pushed me, even though science didn't always come naturally to me. I was really pushed to go with what I was passionate about, and so that led me into my time in my undergrad degree at UC Irvine, where I studied environmental science, and I did some work there with their Center for Environmental Biology. And I tried out a bunch of things. I tried out several majors, and I tried out a lot of extracurricular opportunities because it took me a while to figure out sort of where my niche was. And I think that's something that everyone should do, is sort of feel out what those opportunities are and explore what feels right for you. But it definitely wasn't something that came naturally to me by any means, so I had to push through that, because it was what I was passionate about. And I've decided to continue my learning, and while I'm working at tech, I'm working also on a master's degree at UC Berkeley. And I'm really excited to kind of take that expertise that I'm developing now in policy and furthering sustainability into the work that I do at tech. But yeah, I would say the biggest thing for me is just not being afraid to fail, and knowing that sometimes things might not come to you right away, but if you try hard enough, you can still pursue what you're passionate about. That's something I had to learn pretty early on.
Yeah, it's definitely sounds like it. And I mean, it's pretty impressive that you're able to like work and study at the same time right now. And I think that that's a really good lesson for anybody who's trying to pursue, higher education is to always, have that mindset of like, you can do it and trying hard. I think I skipped a little bit ahead, but yeah, your academic background is super interesting. And yeah, basically really great advice for our listeners about, never giving up. Do you have like any other tips or last minute things that you wanted to say to somebody who maybe wants to pursue a pathway similar to yours?
Yeah, I would just say, take advantage of every opportunity that you have to learn. And I would also say, think about what you're passionate about and go from there. I think, the job that I have now, I didn't even know existed when I was, in school. And so I was led by my interests and my passions, and that led me to this really rewarding work. So I think that's the advice that I would give is, if you're following what you're passionate about, it makes working through some of the challenges easier. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes complete sense. I would have to agree with you on that. So thanks so much for your interview. I guess before we go, one of the big questions that I guess you would see when you look at your profile is how did you become an award-winning latte artist?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, like many other college students, I was working while I was in school. And so, one of my side jobs was at a cafe next to our campus. And I took up latte art as a hobby. And I ended up getting really good at it. And I participated in a regional competition and I won. And it was extra exciting because since I'm vegan, I decided to compete with almond milk. So I was the only one competing using almond milk, and it was exciting to represent um, and to shine for the plant-based milk.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was a really fun thing to get to do while I was in college.
Yeah, sounds like it. I would love to try one of your almond milk lattes someday.
I would love to make one for you.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your interview again, and to our listeners for tuning in. If you are interested in seeing more, we'll be posting more of these Tech Trailblazer interviews on our website, and we hope to tune in next time.